everyone. My name is Sharon Platt. I am one of the science tutors for the Student Success Commons, and this video is going to be about the ear. We all know that part of the ear, that's the outside, and then we're going to look at some of the inner parts as well. So this outside part of the ear is called the auricle, or sometimes it's called the pinna. And this is the part that we can see. It's made out of elastic cartilage, which is why you can stretch it a bit. So that's the auricle. And then we have the external auditory canal right here. And that is the part that is open to the outside, external auditory canal. And then we come up against the tympanic membrane right here. And that is a membrane, the sound makes it vibrate, and then it sends it through these bones and onto the inner ear. But that is the tympanic membrane, and let's see if we can take a look at those three little bones there. So this is the malleus, the incus, and the stapes. Alright, so those three vibrate against each other. And this middle ear is filled with air. Alright, there's no fluid in here, or there's not supposed to be. So this is filled with air, and these bones just vibrate and send the message on to the inner ear. The other thing in the ear, in the middle ear, is the eustachian tube. See that black dot down there? So the eustachian tube helps equalize the pressure in the middle ear. You know, when you go up in an airplane or you're driving up and down hills, and sometimes you'll feel a little pressure in there, and you swallow or yawn or do something like that to equalize the pressure. That's letting air in or out through the eustachian tube to keep the pressure in here the same as the pressure outside on both sides of that tympanic membrane. And then at the end of the stapes, there's a little thing that's not shown on this model called the oval window. Now it's not an open window, it's a membrane, and there's air on this side and there is fluid on the other side. And so the bones wiggle it and make the fluid move, and that's what helps work the inside here. Alright, so this is the inner ear, and I'm going to take it out so we can see the different parts. And let me make sure I didn't forget anything. Alright, so in our inner ear, it's made up of three different parts. So we have the cochlea, which is this round spiral thing, kind of looks like a seashell, and there's a lot to that part and how that works and how it leads us to hearing. I'm not going to get into all that, but it's very fascinating stuff. And then here is the auditory nerve that goes to the brain and takes all this information from here to the brain. So this is for our actual hearing. That's the cochlea. It has the organ of Corti in it and all kinds of fun stuff like that. Then we have the vestibule, which is here, this part right here. And we have the semicircular canal. So this is hearing. These have to do with balance. Where is your body in space? All right, these semicircular canals, see how they kind of look like almost a full circle, not quite. And there's three of them, and they're at different angles. All right, so we'll get to that in a second. But this vestibule here, and I'm going to look at the notes to make sure I get this straight. It deals with linear acceleration as well as the position of your head with respect to gravity. All right, so if you tilt your head this way and you do that, the fluid in here is going to tell your brain gravity's down there. Alright, so it's going to tell you your head is off to the side. Tilt it this way, fluid's going to go the other way, and it's going to tell your brain your head's tilted this way. Or if you're linear accelerating, it's going to tell the brain that too, because the fluid is going to hit the back of it. Alright, does that make sense? So the fluid movement in the vestibule does linear acceleration and position of the head with respect to gravity. The semicircular canals do head rotation or dynamic equilibrium. So not just, which position is your head in, but which direction is it moving. So you nod your head. You see how these are So yeah, these two guys, they're like right angles to each other. So this one's like up and down, this one's sideways, and this is some funky angle in between. All right. So if you nod your head, the fluid in here is going to go back and forth like this, and it's going to tell your brain you're nodding your head. You shake your head, the fluid in here is going to go back and forth, and it's going to tell your brain your head's going that way. And this one's kind of an in-between one, so if you do something like this and they all three do something funny, it's going to tell your brain what your head is doing, and therefore where your body is in space, because we tend to follow our head, hopefully. All right, and so that is the inner ear. And we have our three sections, our outer ear, our middle ear filled with air, and our inner ear filled with fluid. Thank you.